welcome to Chasing Greedo. That's right, this is actually the first time I'm introing one of the episodes, and it's actually one of the older episodes that we've done. Since Get Greedo is coming out soon, and we've all been pretty busy, and and since I made that announcement, I figured, why not I just throw up the first episode here on YouTube, since hey, no one's never been on YouTube, and hey, this is the first time I've done an intro for it, so I thought it'd be something kind of cool to do. Of course, for those who don't know, you're probably wondering, what is Get Greedo? Well, Get Greedo is basically a story about Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith going out to try to find this Greedo doll while trying to keep Jason off of the drugs. This is set back in 97, 98, in between Chasing Amy and Dogma. So, it was created, it was directed and written by Christopher Downey. It comes from the mind of Kevin Smith. And it should be on Sir very soon. Not even Sir, S.I.T. My bad, guys. Should be on S.I.T. very soon. SModcast Internet Television. And I'm actually waiting for that day. I've been sitting at my computer like this the whole time. And we've very excited. They're very excited to show it. I'm very happy to be a part of it from my point of view as doing the podcast, as a companion podcast. And I'm hoping that we can do more with this. Maybe do some other stuff with Chasing Greedo, alongside with the whole 12 steps of Jason Mewes, as they're calling it. So this first episode that I'm posting is actually the first episode. There's no Brett Murray, there's no Victoria Ray, and it's just me and Chris. This is probably our second time podcasting together. He was on the Evil Teddy Bear podcast first, and then thought it was pretty fun, so we decided to do the podcasting for Chasing Greedo and Get Greedo. It's funny how I came up with the name. The name itself hit me pretty much, because Chris had definitely come up with Get Greedo first, and I was like, what could go with Get Greedo? So I got up one morning, I was cleaning my bathroom, and just like a Doc Brown moment, after hitting my head on the toilet, I came up with Chasing Greedo. I hit him up on Facebook. I was like, dude, Chasing Greedo. Get Greedo is the part where you're already getting Greedo. Chasing Greedo is just chasing it, and it'll be a companion podcast as you guys film. So, I mean, you can tell stories, you got people get on show, but of course, it kind of turned out like that for a little bit, and this is the beginning of it. You're probably wondering why I'm putting it on the Evil Ted Pod channel. Well, I'm shutting down the Chasing Greedo channel because we've done nothing with it at all. And I'm putting it on here because it's part of the Evil Ted Podductions. So, and there's no, I don't know why it's not on the Chris's channel at all. It's probably because whatever, Chris, I don't know. You gotta ask him. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys listen to it. If you guys like the podcast and want to hear more, you can check us out on iTunes, or you can check us out at Evil Ted podcast with the S.I.T, guys, .webs.com. Alright? You can find us there. Until then, here is the show.
I'm fucking bored, man. Boredom's the first step on the road to relapse. Oh. Fuck me.
voice on the Evil Teddy Bear podcast, but not this time. It's a little different. I'm Corey.
And I'm Chris.
That's right. We got Christopher Downey here. I'm actually doing a podcast with him. Why don't you explain where the idea came from for this podcast?
Well, basically, after we did I think it was the interview for, like all the films and stuff like that for Love SMod, I decided that it'd be a good idea to do like a regular podcast with you and you, sir, genius that you are, came up with the idea of maybe doing a run-up podcast and a lead-up for the Love SMod film, which is a fan film based around the podcast Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, and since the film's called Get Greedo, why not call it Chasing Greedo, which also ties into Kevin again. Brainchild of you, sir. Congrats. Well done.
Yeah, I had a brain fart and it just came out. Yeah, so like one day I was like, you had hit me up on Twitter saying we should do a podcast, and I was like, okay, about what? And you said, I don't know, maybe like movies and TVs and stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I said, I was like, maybe we need to kind of find a footing. So it took us a while to find a footing for this.
Yeah.
And you were getting ready to start filming the day, I guess it was a day, or you were probably already filming, but I was up at like 4 in the morning, U.S. time, Eastern Standard Time, as they call it over here. And I was cleaning the bathroom, and I was like, wait a minute, it's called Get Greedo, why not Chasing Greedo? Why, and it'll be lead up to the movie, you know?
It's a perfect title, and I thought that, obviously we can talk about the film, all things that are getting done at the moment. But it's also a good idea if we have like a little sort of 10-minute segment at the end, just other news and just sort of talk about additional things. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So why don't we just jump right into it? Where did the idea? Why don't you explain for new listeners who haven't listened to the interview? Why don't you explain where the idea for Get Greedo came from?
Oh, really? Well, we did Babylon Begins, which was a big success, which you can see at the Bloody Awful Poet on YouTube. We did that, and it was a big success, and it was, fans in Ralph and eventually Kevin. So I thought, well, I'll put that to bed just now, put those characters to bed, because they are technically characters, they're not actually Kevin and Ralph. They sort of act a bit like them. So I thought I'll put those characters to bed, and I'll sort of focus on something else. But I don't like just making stuff up on the spot unless I've got a little bit of story and plot in my head already. So I just let it sort of germinate naturally, and then I was just listening to one of the podcasts. I think I'd gone back to re-listen to the first 6 podcasts of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, because that's where they really sort of focus on a linear story, A to B, with B being him quitting drugs, just before he relapses, and obviously A being just before he starts drugs, telling the tale of woe of all the horrible things that happened to him, and all the things that he ended up having to do for drugs. And in there was a story that I think they've told a couple of times, and it's basically in order to stifle his DT, I think it's called, Ken would sort of chaperone him around and give him sort of tasks and things to do. So one of them was, why don't we go find this rare action figure? It's 1997. The Star Wars trilogy has just been re-released with really crap special effects, and Greedo shot first, that kind of bullshit. So they've re-released the Greedo doll, but you'll get 1 per case, so it's a rare doll. So Walt in the Secret Stash, Kevin's longtime friend Walt Flanagan, who runs the Secret Stash, suggested to him that would be a good item to sell, and that was it. News was away, and he decided that that's what he was going to do that day. And I think a couple of other days. In fact, that was one of the sort of missions for a good little while. Let's find Greedo dolls, eat donuts, and just bum around New Jersey, just sort of anything to keep his mind active. So that's basically where it came from. I thought that'd be a good idea for a film.
Yeah. So how's filming been like so far from day one for you?
Well, we the filming's been good. I'm not happy with a couple of things. I can't really complain though, because everything else has just fallen into place perfectly. With Babylon Begins, it's all slapsticky, offensive, and silly. There's nothing that's overly. There's no stretch for the actors. Everybody gets to be cool and funny, apart from me, because I get hit in the head with a dildo, of course. So when we did Get Greedo, when we started Get Greedo, we hit the ground running by doing the very first scene, which takes place 2 weeks before the main part of the film begins. It's just before the opening credits, and it's a slightly emotional scene between Muse and Kevin, or Moves as he's called by Jason throughout the whole film. Because I've never heard Jason ever call Kevin to his face. It's always Moves or something like akin to that. So it was an emotional scene that we started off with. I mean, it was fantastic to see. I mean, the guy that we've got playing Jason is so good. I'm so impressed. I'd seen him do. He does this character called Wee Mental Daz. It's quite a popular character. He's got quite a lot of followers on fuck. My mind is gone. Twitter. Yeah, there we go. He's got quite a lot of followers on Twitter as that character. So I mean, he's done acting before. He's done stand-up. He's done music. So he was getting back into acting by sort of accepting this role. I did a really good job. He's got the sort of semi-raspiness. You know how Muse has got a raspy sort of esque sort of part of his voice. He's just ever so slightly raspy. So he put that into it, and they were just so natural together. They gelled very well. I mean, Mark tends to gel well with everybody. I mean, he gelled well with Adam, who used to be his sidekick in a lot of films, and he obviously gelled well with Jack, but he's gelled well with Bane in a different kind of way, and it just works well. You know, it's a decent sort of chemistry on screen. That's the thing that surprises me, that they're so natural, even though it's not their native accents, and maybe we fall out of accents every now and again, and you hear a little bit of Scottish twang to everything. But yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been very hot because you were usually in like small quarters, close quarters with pipe hot lights. So that's the only downside. But I can't complain. I'm not wearing a long wig, a parker, and and a beanie hat. It's essentially what Bane wears as Muse throughout most of the film.
So why don't you go down the cast list? Like, who are the main people, basically?
Oh, okay.
The main focus.
Just before we do this, I mean, I can hear it myself. I'm not hearing my voice come back into my headphones because I've cut that off because, fuck, I don't want to hear that, but I seem like I've got the most boring fucking voice on earth. Anyway, right, so getting back to things. Okay, so we've got Mark Frost returning as Kevin with a slightly augmented look to match his 1997 appearance. We've got Chris Bain. Chris Bain's here. He's replacing Sean Miller, who was a young actor. He played Muse in Babylon Begins, and the only reason he's replaced him is because Sean's quite a talented actor in his own right, but he couldn't let go. He was, and I'm not saying that Jason Mewes is daft or anything like that, but he couldn't be silly and daft in the role. He played it too cool. Plus, I couldn't, put heroin puncture wounds in his arms, with makeup. I just would have felt wrong because I've known Sean since he was 14 or 13 or something like that. So we've got Chris Bain replacing Sean. Although Sean will be helping and you'll be in there in another role. We've got myself, Chris Downey, playing Walt Flanagan. We've got Sarah Pearson, possibly my new girlfriend Sarah Fuller, possibly playing a small role of a bag-wielding angry mother. That's pretty much it. Aside from, we've got a cameo from Jack Fox, who played Ralph in Babylon Begins. He's going to be playing Ben Affleck in Chasing Amy. So we're reshooting a massive scene of Chasing Amy that will play on a television, and it'll just be a short remake with our actors, obviously, and Jack playing Ben Affleck. I think that's everybody. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Oh, and I'll be playing a Muppet character as well. I'll not go into detail. You'll see soon enough. We've got some new photographs I'm going to upload soon. They're quite funny, and yeah. So I think that's the flat out cast.
That's a hell of a cast, dude. Yeah. Sorry, I'm stretching right now. It's been a really
I'll
it's been kind of a long day here.
Yeah, me too. Today we didn't have any sound. We didn't have a sound person. We didn't have a lighting person. So I had to do everything at the same time. So I'm holding the camera with my left arm. And I can't focus. I have to focus in advance, so I can't focus during the scene. So I've got the camera in my left hand. I've got the boom pole in my right, and I'm holding it above the actors. I'm also trying to make sure that no kids, because we were in a toy store today shooting, I'm making sure no kids were going behind me. And fiddling with the light that would literally take the skin off their hand. It was so hot if it fell down on top of them. And then I also had to worry about people talking in the background. I mean, we didn't. It was fine, obviously, if some there's a little bit of conversation and distance, but like some people were being really loud. It's funny. There was a certain point when we were doing. I think it was the last two shots, not even the last scene. It was the last two shots, and every time I shouted action, Mark, counted a couple of beats in his head and came around the corner to deliver his line, and somebody, a kid or a parent or grandparent, would pick up the noisiest toy in the whole store and like activate it, and it would, for some reason, would be louder than it would ever be in any other store. Or they'd pick up a something in a bag, like a plastic bag, that would crackle. Now we couldn't get annoyed because obviously they've got to still do business. We can't get in the way, so every time someone wanted to use the part of the store that we were filming, and we just sort of put our backs to the walls so everyone could go past and turn the lights off so we didn't cook people. So we basically we couldn't do anything but laugh every time someone activated a really loud toy or started crinkling something really loudly. So yeah, that was good fun, but it was, I wouldn't say frustrating. But it took a little bit longer because obviously we're shooting during not office hours, but business hours. So yeah.
Yeah, that had to be definitely tough. I know. With us on this end, like Tom wants to try shooting outside, like without the green screen and whatnot. So that's going to be definitely one of the challenges we're going to have to face.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to have to do. I don't know if we're going to be in a toy store, because if it was, it'd probably just be him shooting me, trying to get as many toys as I can. Probably trying to get as many Star Wars dolls as I can.
It was funny though, because the corner that we chose to shoot in happened to just be the corner where all those dolls were of that size. Granted, they didn't have any like Indiana Jones or any other Star Wars ones. Certainly not in that area. So we had to put the 12-inch Greedo doll with a big load of Kens and Barbies and Living Dead dolls and all this other bullshit. And between takes, all we did was comment on how effeminate Ken looks, how incredibly effeminate he's become. He looks more made up with makeup than Barbie does.
But has he ever been manly looking? I mean, you look at those dolls over the years, they don't look very manly looking.
No, he didn't, did he? But like I don't know. He wasn't. He's getting worse. He's getting more and more effeminate. I mean, supposedly as the story goes, I don't really know why they have a story for it, because kids are going to make up their own story. But supposedly they've broken up, like fuck knows when and fuck knows why. Maybe because he's, I don't know.
Years ago they broke up.
Yeah. Maybe he was pulling a George Volt special, and he was bisexual and touching up masseuses and wasn't telling her. That would explain why he likes to wear makeup and is very conscious of his fashion status. And by that fact, he probably wears a wig as well.
It'd be like Barbie walks in on Ken. He's just in her dress. He's like, I can explain.
Yeah. And he's got a masseuse there. I'm trying to think, is there any other male characters in the Barbie line? Probably. Fuck it. Anyway. Black. But essentially that's Asian Ken. So yeah, that's basically what we were talking about the whole time. And we're just saying, before they split up, yeah, she was cheating on him. She was fucking action man. I mean, that's a real man. The guy's got a fucking scar on his face. He's got a square jaw and plastic hair that's just greased back. He doesn't give a shit about his hair. He's going into combat. The other guy, his hair is actually combable and it's styled and feathered. So that's what you need. You need someone with, harshly carved muscles and, a weather-beaten, sand-covered face, because he's just been in the desert fighting, I don't know, what's the villain in... was it Mr. X or Dr. X or something? Again, that storyline is redundant in an action figure line like that. Anyway, yeah, so that's basically what we did during downtime.
So, what has editing been like so far? Have you been editing, during, days, at the end of the day? Are you gonna wait to edit at the end? I mean, how are you gonna do this?
Oh, no, I'd hate to do that. I'd absolutely hate to edit the last, with all that footage. It would just be too sort of, not threatening, but I'd just have a sense of foreboding as I came towards the end of the shoot. I mean, I normally shoot just after, I normally edit just after I've shot, as soon as I get home or the next day. But I've recently gone freelance, and so that's going to be my job, and I've got some money to put together for various things. So I've had to take jobs. I've been quite lucky. I've had a couple of jobs thus far, and one of them is going to become a regular gig. So I'll hopefully have cash on the hip to keep me alive, keep me in ramen noodles, and bubble juice and lemon heads. But yeah, I haven't edited anything. I've edited bugger all. I sat and watched the dailies today with Mark, because Bane had to go off. Because Chris Bane, who plays, just remind everyone, Chris Bane, who plays Muse, Jason Muse.
Wait, his last name is Bane?
His name is Bane, yeah. We just call him Bane. So from now on, I'll just call him Bane, and you'll know that I'm not talking about a hulking bald guy with a voice like that.
You could do it because you're close to it.
Yeah.
You could, if I knew a guy with the last name Bane, I'd just ask him so many Batman questions. It wouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, every time he comes to the door, like he came to the door downstairs, I've got a buzzer system with a what do you call it in America? Intercom. Like an intercom. So you buzz downstairs at the intercom. You let them anyway. So he buzzed downstairs and I went, hello, because I knew who it was, and he's like, hi, it's me. He's like, is that the mercenary known as Bane? So every time he comes, I don't think he's ever laughed, but I just like doing that really strained voice. Because, let's be honest, Bane, just fantastically performed character. Anyway, let's not get away from that. Yeah, his name's Bane.
Oh, man. Yeah, Kevin, I don't know if you listened to the last two Babylons, which I'm pretty sure you have. But,
yeah, I think I have, yeah.
Yeah, people have been like, Kevin's Bane is spot on, basically.
Oh, it's pretty good, yeah. I quite liked it, yeah.
So now
what did you think?
I thought it was pretty okay, but I already know that it's going to end up being like it's going to go on for about a couple months or whatever until they retire it,
Mm-hmm.
So, but, I mean, that pretty much, so, like, what kind of you're doing the music yourself, or you have other people come and do some music for it? I mean, how's that?
Well, the way we're going to roll is I've got two songs. One is Locked in Stone. I sent the demo away for that to Michael Poplowski, who's the, I guess you could say he's my producer and he's the co-performer. He plays all the instruments. I just send him the chords and he makes an arrangement based on the demo that I send him. So he puts together the music, performs all the music. Based on the music that I send him, and he sends that to me, and then I record. I record all my lines as perfect as I can, send them to him, and then he levels them out, produces them, makes sure that it basically make it sound like Babylon, the single for Babylon sounded. So yeah, the first song is actually the song that will play in the opening credits. It's called Moves, M-O-V-E-S, which is the nickname obviously for Kevin Smith. From Muse himself, Jason Muse. It's quite a nice song. It's sad and sort of, it's like a kind of Metallica, Nothing Else Matters type kind of rock ballad of sorts with no coherent story really. It just hints at all the sort of things that are within the film. So we're doing that, and we're going to use the music, the melody for Moves as a motif throughout the film. So which I'm going to perform, just like, sort of on guitar and keys. I'll just play the melody every now and again, and I'll just send bits and pieces to Michael, and hopefully Michael will have time to score the movie. Nothing too over dramatic, just bits of music here, bits of music there, and then you'll maybe hear bits of the theme song. And then we've got Reformed Man, which I'll play at the end, which is a slightly more upbeat song. Yeah, so aside from that, there's nothing that I'll be doing really. I'll just be providing vocals for moves, probably the vocals for Reformed Man if we get the chance to. And if Michael's not too busy, I think he is just now, but he's going to be working on the music for that. Fingers crossed.
Nice. So, I mean, okay, outside of the, let's, it is a podcast, so let's move. I mean, we talked about the Greedo stuff a little bit. Let's kind of use this second half, because, we'll go about 50 on this one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, because it's going to go up in Bandcamp, and Bandcamp's is just, like, they're crazy about the size of how much you can put stuff on there. Let's talk about what's actually going on over there. Like, what entertainment news stuff have you seen that you got you interested?
Right. Okay. Well, there's three things I could probably mention. Went to see Brave, the new Pixar movie. Have you seen it?
No, I'm gonna wait for it to hit DVD.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really, really shattered, as we say here. Knackered. I was tired. I don't know. I think I'd got up early for some fucking stupid reason, and I was sitting watching it in the cinema with my girlfriend, and I was sitting forward most of the film because I was trying not to fall asleep, and I was sort of kind of on the edge of not enjoying it until halfway through the film. It's a weird film. It's not like anything else they've ever done. I'd probably say I'll need to see it again, but I'd probably say it's their weakest after Cars. Which is annoying because it's set in my native Scotland, and there's a lot of, big Scottish names in there like Billy Connolly, and I don't know. I'll need to see it again. I also saw The Bourne Legacy. How about that? You seen that one?
Not yet. I think it just came out not too long ago.
Yeah, it came out Monday. Yeah, I saw that. That was, I hate to admit, I think I enjoyed that a bit more, and I don't like the Bourne movies. But yeah, I thought it was good. It held my attention. Every time I felt my attention waning, something else would happen, and Jeremy Renner would jump on a bike and grind down the side of a building in Venice or wherever he was, and that would keep my attention. The only thing I will say is I didn't like the ending. The ending was a bit, chop socky. Just cut the ending off. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't mind spoilers at all, because, I mean, even if I do hear as a movie's going to end, I'm going to see it anyway. Like, except for Batman, that one I would have been like, I want to see how this happens by myself.
Oh, yeah. I think the reason I went to see that right away is because I didn't want people accidentally writing things on Facebook and, spoiling shit. But did you know that the Joker and Robin went to high school together?
Yeah, I posted that picture. I reposted
that
picture. I was like, holy, because I forgot they did that movie together, 10 Things I Hate About You, which is also one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's probably one of the strongest romantic comedies ever made, I would say. Of that sort of the last 30 years, maybe.
Yeah,
let's not go crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I think I posted it on Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter and Facebook, because, I'm a social whore. And I think I put the captions, see how it all began or something like that, see how one goes insane while the other one picks up, see how the other one becomes a hero or something like that. I want to say. Yeah. Which was, I made it sound a little bit epic, but it was pretty cool. I've also been seeing, like, have you seen the new Doctor Who trailer? I know you have.
I haven't actually, no. It's been so long since last season. I'm actually getting pissed off that they keep changing the dynamic of the show, and you're going to get a full season this year, but next year you get it in halves. You half season here and half season there. You have to wait all summer, and then the next year after that you get it in the autumn. Pick a time slot. Stop fucking around. I can't be arsed. You're going to lose. I mean, I've lost interest. I love Doctor Who. I know it'll be good because we're going to finally find out, Doctor Who ?
I don't think.
Nah, I've not seen it.
I don't think we're gonna find out Doctor Who. You know, what's his like? And that's the big real question. It's like, what's his name? I like it without knowing his actual name because
No, I don't think we'll find out his name, but I think we'll find out who he is and who he was, and we'll find out a bit more of his past, why he's been running. I mean, it's been hinted at that he wanted to go off and have adventures. But like he stole the TARDIS and buggered off, and you know he disguised it as that police box, and then it got stuck on that police box disguise and this and the next thing. But no, I haven't seen the trailer. Why do you ask, sir?
They've been showing it like crazy over here on BBC America.
Yeah.
For the past few weeks, they've had Doctor Who specials, like a special on the science of Doctor Who, which is basically.
I think I've seen.
Yeah, it's Science Doctor Who, the women of Doctor Who, the companions. Like they've done like a bunch of specials alongside with the Nerdist, you know, like Chris Hardwick and all them, because they have their own TV show that they do for BBC America.
Yeah.
And it's just been. I think they're trying to hype it up. I think they released a date today, saying.
All right.
August 25th, I think they're premiering in New York, so it might be, it's premiering in New York August 25th, so it may be like the month after that.
Yeah.
Maybe September.
I mean, I like the thing that everyone's going on about is like, oh, Amy's gonna die, and you see her in this picture, and she's dead, and the doctor's carrying her. She's not gonna die. If you see a photograph of her being carried by the doctor, she won't die. They won't make it. They won't tell you that. I mean, that's what pisses me off. No one, to my knowledge, has ever died. None of the companions have died. Somebody needs to die, and God, no way, it can't be Rose. You can't bring Rose back and then kill her. She's the only person that's untouched. No, she's untouchable. Rose, she's the best companion, and that's a good thing.
It'd be such a 180 for Doctor Who. It's like, oh my God, it just got darker.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, but that's the thing that excites me. If you know, everybody goes on about David Tennant being the best Doctor and the next thing. If you remember, when Rose was taken back to the parallel dimension, she was given a Doctor Who clone.
Yeah.
It looks like David Tennant, which that means he's the only one that can come back in without being like like a time paradox. It's not him meeting himself; it's a clone that looks and acts just like the Doctor, and this is essentially the Doctor because he was cloned up until that point. He's got his memories and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that because we were all excited for the return of Rose, and then she eventually came back. Now we can be excited. I think they're going to do it for the 60th or the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who or something like that. There's rumours that 50th. There's rumours that on the 50th anniversary they'll bring back David Tennant, and so it'll be David Tennant and Matt Smith side by side fighting like the Daleks or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Anyway, another thing I would like to mention is I think we've got a delay. Okay, right. So, there was a band I went to see in the Edinburgh Fringe. The Edinburgh Fringe is a comedy and music sort of. You got the Edinburgh Festival, but the Fringe is where you make your name as a comedian or a musician. If you want to be a stand-up comedian, you come to Edinburgh, you do the Edinburgh Fringe, Edinburgh Festival, and you tour, and that's where you get, I think it's the Perrier Award. Yeah, and if you get that, you're not guaranteed a career, but it's going to look pretty good for you. So we were sitting in. It's called the Assembly. It's essentially like a square. And we were sitting there, and they've got the fake grass on the ground, and you sit down, and they've got venues around the whole place in George Square. And this hobo came up to me with a guitar, and he said, "Would you like free tickets?" And we said, "Yeah, whatever," because we're being all open-minded, and we'll just go and see anything, which is good. And he gave us the free tickets. We went to see this band, and they're called the La Clochards.
Wait, go back. How did you get the free tickets? Don't tell me you had to do something that you didn't want to do.
No. He just gave us them. Because I was wearing a flat cap, and I think he thought, oh, he's wearing a flat cap. He'll be into our music. So, because he was dressed like a sort of turn of the century tramp. and with a guitar. So he handed us his tickets, and we went to see the show, and we sat down, and they came out, and they were all dressed like tramps, and they had this like sort of good shtick down where they were essentially saying that all the songs that they played, they wrote, and they were stolen by other people. So they played things like Sledgehammer, and they did AC/DC, they did Tom Jones, but they did it with such flair and such charisma that it was fantastic. You know, buy the CD by all means, but you have to see these people and live. I mean, you can sort of get a little bit from the videos that they've got, but they're incredible in the stuff they do, and they've got a couple of original songs as well. They are the best. I would probably put them up joint top greatest thing I've seen in the festival ever, but they're definitely the best musical act I've ever seen ever.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen. Let's see. Every time I go out, I go to a bar called 529, and I mean, there's some pretty good musical acts there or whatever. By far the best one that I kind of like, and not just because she's dating my friend or whatever, is a girl named this chick named Cynthia. You know, she has a band called Cinch and the Aftermath that she does, and it's pretty cool. I think she has one song recorded called "So Close," and if you listen to her voice, it's basically kind of like listening to Angel sing a little bit, but you know, it's pretty good. You know, it's kind of hard though to kind of get into a new band.
Yeah.
After listening to like such and such for such a band that's already known for such a long time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like for Tenacious D, there's Tenacious D, right? And I listened to them, but then Flight of the Conchords came along, and it was like it took me a while to kind of get into them because it seemed like they were like Tenacious D a little bit to me, but with a folky kind of thing going on, you know?
Yeah. That's basically what the La Clochards are like. They've got like a kind of a folky jazz, punk rock, bluegrassy kind of. It's just you have to just check it out. I mean, I think if you just type in the so LESCLOCHARDS, and if you can get the double dot above the O, you'll definitely be able to find them. The La Clochards, they're fantastic. You'll not mistake them. I think there's a band called La Clochards, but they just look like normal guys. You'll never mistake the La Clochards because they're dressed like hobos. So.
I'm sure you actually sent me a link to their website at some point, which was actually, and I watched them, actually pretty good. I think what cover did I watch on their website? I can't remember what cover I watched, but they were actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, they do a cover of the Ape song from the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And they've got so the lead singer says, okay, the next song is one that was stolen by the man they call the Walt Disney, and everyone laughs because they know it's going to be a Disney song, obviously. And then when they start playing it, everybody sort of twigs as to what song it is because they do it in French. It's the only song they don't sing in English. And I think it works because you don't quite know what's going on until the chorus. It's the ooby-doo bit, and it's a great song, and it's just so bouncy, and you can't stop your toes from tapping. But that's probably one that you should check out. And Sledgehammer, the Peter Gabriel song, that's my favourite. And when I went to see them again, I think it was 2 days ago or maybe yesterday, when they played Sledgehammer at the end, I was dribbling at the mouth. It was such a good performance, and they dance and they've got their moves perfectly honed. They know what they're going to do to the very beat. It's incredible.
What if they started playing the Babylon song that you made, like right there? Like you had no idea.
I'd be amazed. That'd be fantastic, and it'd be quite funny if they had included it and said this song was stolen by a man who calls himself the Chris Downey. I'd be like, but then again, that's never going to happen. Certainly not at this stage.
Like, wait a minute, I didn't know a Chris Downey.
I'd just jump up and go, "Woo, that's me."
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Also, well, we do actually have a Doctor going into the Marvel universe. If you haven't known, if you didn't find out, Christopher Eccleston is playing the main villain in the next Thor movie. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I heard that. I think they announced it on Babylon. I don't know if it was the last episode or the second last episode, but yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, you just gotta think, the Doctor versus Thor, who would win that battle?
I don't know. To be fair, Thor's hammer, as big and strong as it is, could never knock down the door of the TARDIS.
Well, you never know. Maybe it may leave a dent.
Maybe, but not on the actual police box, on the actual physical police box, or the physical ship itself, maybe. But yeah, nah, there's no contest. I mean, Thor would destroy him, but if he was in the TARDIS using his brain, get the sonic screwdriver out, yeah, he could get away probably. Because Thor's probably the dumbest of them all. I mean, even the Hulk's retains, even a smidgen of Banner's knowledge and intelligence, and that's probably more than Thor's, entire IQ.
Yeah, that's messed up, dude.
I mean, for fuck's sake, the Hulk outsmarts Loki and just slams him into the floor.
Well, he more just grabs him and slams him, which was actually, a lot of people think that's one of the funniest scenes in that movie. Which I do. There's a picture that has Loki laying on his back, after the Hulk, slammed him around, and it says not going anywhere for a while. Have a Snickers, and it's basically him holding a Snickers bar.
Fucking hell. Okay. DVDs and Blu-rays. Let's see here. I got Repo, the Genetic Opera, at your request. So that's sitting at the top of my pile. I'm just waiting to go back to my parents' house and pick up my Blu-ray player so I can watch it. I've got the shittiest, tiniest, crappest TV. But it was a free gift that I got given when I moved in this flat. So I can't really complain. I've plugged my Xbox into it. The fucking controller is bigger than the screen. It's tiny, but yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else I've seen. See, the good thing about my new girlfriend is she really likes film. I mean, sometimes she doesn't remember actors' names, and it takes us ages to figure out what she's talking about. But she's got quite a high standard as well. So we've been going to the cinema a lot, and she got a cinema pass as well as me because we've got unlimited cinema for like £15 a month or something like that. So we got the cinema a lot, but she also has lots of download movies and DVDs. So we tend to watch a lot. And I saw for the first time, and it made me nearly wet myself. It was one of the most enjoyable movies ever. I don't know how they harnessed the power of Liam Neeson's cock in this film, and Liam Neeson himself. Taken. I finally saw Taken.
Really? How was that? I still haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer, the first trailer for it when it came out. It's like, I don't know who you are, but I will find you and I will kill you or whatever.
Yeah, it's. I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, it doesn't look like anything special, and the premise isn't that original, to be fair. But everyone went on about it. I remember I avoided it, and my ex-fiance at the time wanted to go see it. And I remember I read a bad review in Empire that says it was predictable garbage. And I was like, okay, Empire knows what they're talking about, so let's not go and see that. But I wish I'd gone to see it because the hype it lived up to the hype. I sat down and watched it. I was like, this is brutal. And you're like with him every step of the way. And you just want to see what he'll do next to someone. Because he just does an array of different things to everybody in order to sort of make his way up the totem pole to find his daughter. The only thing I will say about it is, as much as I love Liam Neeson, his accents are pony as hell. It's so fake. And he does an English accent really well. He does his own accent really well. But yeah, and the other thing was the girl that played his daughter. I think she's meant to be 16 in it. And she was acting like, an airhead 16-year-old. But you could see she was about 25. And she was just trying her hardest, but no actor on the planet could be a bobble-headed 16-year-old when you're 25. It looks like such a struggle for her. It looked so fake. I think it was mainly because they couldn't put a 16-year-old actress in that role because of some of the things that they have her doing in it. There's a scene where she's just standing in like underwear, totally high on heroin, and everybody's like bidding on her to sort of buy her. And the sex trafficking bullshit that was happening in France at the time. But yeah, I think that's maybe why. But yeah, Taken. You got to see Taken, sir. Oh, it's good. It's good fun.
Let's see, what did I watch this week? This week and last week, I started watching. I rewatched the Transformers movies, but I rewatched them through Riff Tracks. I don't know if you know Riff.
Yeah. It's Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, those guys. Those guys towards the end of the show, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched them before. I just decided to get bored, and I was like, I'm gonna rewatch these things again. But it's just the third one is still such a hard sit for me. So.
Yeah.
I mean, cause
don't tell me too much about it because I've not seen that one. I'm not a massive fan, but they're watchable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna give too much away because it's still out there.
I'm sure there's not much to it anyway. It's fucking Transformers. It's not fucking Dark Knight or The Godfather.
Yeah, but it's like essentially if you're a Transformers fan, you've been waiting for the first Transformers movie to come out for years or whatever, and wait for the technology to get there. It's just I'd rather have a story rather than just have all these explosions happen every 5 minutes of a movie. I mean, they're cool, but just give me a good story,
You're not going to get that from Jerry Bruckheimer and Michael Bay. He's the director, isn't it? Michael Bay. You're not going to get that from those guys. They like explosions. And to be fair, I mean, my friend Jack, who plays Ralph Garman in Babylon Begins, he's a director as well. And that's all he likes. He minimalist story, explosions, high concepts. And to be fair, I don't know anybody, apart from him, that I went to college with, that I studied with, that wants to be in film, that actually wants to become the next Jerry Bruckheimer more than him. Nobody wants to do that. Everyone wants to do artsy movies, and a guy smoking a cigarette in the corner of a pub, contemplating his life. It's all black and white and poorly lit and dank and things. That's the kind of movies that everybody I know wants to make. I would say I'm middle road. I like to make something between the two, possibly. But yeah, I think there's a place for it, especially when there's not that many people that want to do that, especially in this country. But the film adaptation that I was waiting for so long, and it might still happen now because the new TV show I think is going to get cancelled. I want a live-action Thundercats movie.
Oh yeah, that's also got talked about a couple of years back too. Like a lot of these movies that we're talking about now been talked about like from early '90s.
Yeah.
To like up to today, like Voltron. They're working on Voltron movie now.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah. One of my favorite artists, Pharrell Williams, is supposed to be doing music for that. He did the music for Despicable Me.
Yeah. That was a kind of cool film.
Yeah, I'm a huge Neptunes fan. From high school to now, I still listen to NERD.
Yeah.
Let's see what other films I have on here. I got Battleship, which I reluctantly. I'm like,
Sir.
oh, I'm gonna have to review this, so I might as well watch it.
My hand's literally on my head. I'm like literally covering my eyes and shaking my head. Battleship, come on, sir. What's next? Monopoly the movie.
Yeah. Let's see. I got the Lorax, which I know that I'm probably gonna end up watching, but I mainly got it from a little brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
I got Kevin Smith's Bindle Stiff.
I'll need to see that.
Yeah, I started watching half of it last night. So far it's okay. It's pretty good. Looks like a pretty good student film.
Mm.
It's the main plot of that movie is three guys decide they're fed up with school and they run away. Basically, they do the plot line for Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah.
A little bit. So that happens. Let's see, porn.
Oh, I'll tell you what I did get. I don't know if I told you. I got the Dark Knight Triple X porn parody.
The Dark Knight Rises one, or
Yeah, the new one, the one that's based on the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises, the porn parody.
yeah,
Never has something looked so authentic. I mean, the Bane in it looks just. I don't mean it looks like a really expensive costume. It looks like the actual costume. The guy is built just like Tom Hardy's built. The bat suit looks even better than the Christian Bale one because it actually resembles more of the comic book kind of Batman. He's got the kind of arched vampire eyebrows on the suit and things like that. It just looks fantastic. And the women costumes, they must have spent millions on it. And to be fair, you could probably spend a couple of million on the costumes and renting some of the locations, and then all you have to do is have a tiny bit of story based around Batman, and then tons of fucking, which is basically what they did. I also got this was a while ago, I got the 1960 Batman porn parody, which looks, again, just like the real shit, because that's easy to replicate. But that one's better, I would say. But the costumes in the Dark Knight parody was really good. I also started watching The Help. Have you seen that?
no, that's that Emma Stone movie, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'm gonna watch it.
It's really good. Oh, it really is. It's so sad. There's a bit with one of the women. I can't for the life of me. I can't remember any characters' names. I'll just call them by the actresses. But I remember one of the women's telling the story, and she begins with a kind of smile on her face, and it just goes so fucking dark. But you just watch it, and you're like, especially me being white, you just watch and you go, fucking people had less brain cells back in the day, and you can see that there are people there that have got sense. Like obviously Emma Stone's character has sense, and say, racially insensitive shit to people, and she's got this sort of understanding of how things are and whatnot. So like it makes it kind of warm, and we're like halfway through the film just now, and I was getting so into it, and then fucking Olympics, I had to go and sit and watch the closing ceremony for the shitty Olympics. And in fact, no, saying that the Olympics were good. It wasn't the shitty Olympics. It was the shitty closing ceremony of the Olympics. It was so fucking self-indulgent and weird.
Yeah, still no David Tennant running up to light the torch, huh?
No, none of that.
They talked about. I want to say they talked about it somewhere. I was watching David Tennant do it, and no, it was on Attack of the Show. David Tennant was doing an interview with one of the hosts on there, Matt Myra, who's also part of the Nerdist crew.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, it would have been kind of cool to kind of do that, so it would be in continuity a little bit, but this is the whole Olympics thing. It's like a whole committee that has to sign off on it and shit.
Yeah, it's not actually that easy.
No, not at all. And then on top of that, it's I don't know. I think it would have been fucking with people's minds a little bit. It was like, wait a minute, so the doctor's real? Yeah, and then like another movie that kind of like I know gets white people a little uncomfortable, especially in a classroom. If you're like there's like about a few, maybe like say 5 white kids in a whole classroom full of black kids, is Roots. That's another movie.
Oh yeah, I've got this right here. I bought it in Blockbuster. It was like £2 or something like that. So holy shit, the whole entire series of Roots. Everyone's been going on about it for so long, and I thought, avoided it as a kid because fuck, I wouldn't hold my attention because I wanted to see fucking E.T. and aliens and stuff, and it was like sort of big when I was a kid. Obviously, it came out in the 70s and that. But I thought, I'm an adult now. I've got an adult sensibilities. I'll enjoy watching this and hating, the white race for being bastards. So I've still got that to watch. It's sitting beside All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's nice. It's a nice clash of genres there.
It's like in one movie you can see a dog die, in another movie you can see black people get whipped. Enjoy.
Put in chains and shit. But no, I'm the good thing. The one thing about it is I know there's going to be loads of at the time up and coming actors that are now fucking mega famous. I'm hoping to see Danny Glover in there, like young Danny Glover. I don't know if he's in it, but don't tell me if he's not, because I like surprises. So I love sitting and watching movies from the '70s because you might see like young Joe Pesci. You're like, holy shit. So that's kind
You know who the main character is? LeVar Burton. Spoilers.
of really LeVar Burton, really?
Well, LeVar Burton's in it for the first few series episodes or whatever. I'm not sure how they had that up, but I know he's Kunta Kinte, if you haven't known.
Ah, really? Awesome.
Yeah, awesome, yeah. Let's see, what else did I watch? I have The Dictator on here. I haven't watched that, but we did recently watch The Hunger Games.
I don't know why, but I've no interest in the Hunger Games. I'll probably catch it.
You want to see a bunch of kids killing each other?
I saw that done really well and really violently in Battle Royale.
Yeah, see, in this, like, they kind of, like, there's a whole build-up to it in this.
Yeah.
And you're expecting it, but it's like they spend about 5 minutes on a whole killing. That's it. And then you're, like, in the woods. It turns from killing to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yeah. I don't know. These things that, let me just tell you, these things that piss me off, right? Harry Potter doesn't piss me off. I think it's really well written, rich, intricate, great character arcs, great story arcs. Everything it fully ties up in the final book and the final film. That's well written, great. Twilight is poorly written garbage for kids who don't even know what hormones are yet. It's fucking shite for tweens. Anyway, moving on. The Hunger Games I know is not bad. I've heard that it's good, but it still pisses me off. I just the milking the genre. But the thing that's I think it's going to start replacing Twilight, in my opinion, and they're going to make a movie very soon, I'm sure. 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey. They've already started casting.
Garbage.
They got, what was it? I don't know if you've ever seen a show called White Collar.
No, I've never seen that.
It's one of the guys from on that show. The guy who plays like the main thief. He was on like he was in Magic Mike. I don't know who he plays in that because I'm not gonna watch that movie.
Oh, Kevin loves that movie, doesn't he?
Yeah, he can smell the moisture in the air. He said.
Yeah, that film. I mean, aside from the stripping and stuff like that, I thought it just looks dull. I mean, he wants to make furniture. Do I give a fuck? Do I really care? And I'm warming to Channing Tatum. I don't love him yet, so he ain't getting my price of admission for that film.
Well, he kind of won me over in 21 Jump Street. So.
Such a good movie. I can't wait to get that on Blu-ray when I get my next payment.
Oh God, that was a funny movie, especially the drugs that they were just giving out in that movie or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like first you start laughing, and then you start getting kind of retarded, then you get fucked up, really fucked up.
That was awesome.
And then you get confidence, and then you just pass out or something like that. I don't know if it's in the right order, but
yeah. Speaking on that note, on passing out, we probably should duck out. It's coming up to the hour mark. So yeah, it's been good sitting down chit chatting with you, sir. Again.
All right, so cool.
I don't know if you want. I'll sign off with my my contacts and stuff like that, and you can do the same. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you go to @Floss Productions. So that's capital F, capital L, capital O, capital S, no space, just Productions, @Floss Productions. Or if you want to go to fortheloveofsmod.org and check out the films that we've done, so Babylon Begins is on there. Some of the fan art that we've managed to accumulate and put on. If you want to watch us, any of our stuff, any of the stuff we mentioned today, go to The Bloody Awful Poet. So that's www.youtube.com/The Bloody Awful Poet, one word. And if you just want to see Babylon Begins, you don't want to fuck around with all that searching bullshit, just type in Babylon Begins right into Google and it'll come up.
That's sweet. And if you guys want to keep on listening to me, and just move this asshole away, you guys just check out the Evil Teddy Bear Podcast. So on Twitter, you can hit me up on KEvil2011 or Kevil, as some people call it. You can also check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/EvilTedPod, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Evil Ted Podcast. So for Chasing Greedo, this has been Corey.
And this has been Chris.
Keep on chasing, people.
Peace out.